When I got into mountain biking, I didn't think I'd gravitate to a hardtail as quickly as I did. After all, everyone wants a high-tech full suspension beast. Last year I bought my first legit full suspension mountain bike. And by legit I mean a mountain bike that didn't come from a big box store. It wasn't long before I started lurking on Pink Bike, where I was exposed to the dark, seedy underworld of the enduro-style hardtail. Slack and sexy, mid and long travel custom builds were calling to me like a siren's song. So I answered the call and built a hardtail, and I was immediately hooked. So what makes riding a hardtail mountain bike so great? Well, let's explore. First of all, let's start with the cost. Hardtails are a much cheaper entry into mountain biking. If you're on a budget, this is the cheapest intro to a new bike without resorting to big box junk. A simple frame design means fewer parts and cheaper manufacturing costs. This means you can buy a nicely spec'd hardtail for less than the cost of a full suspension frame. This Trek Marlin 5, for example, can be had for about $500 and comes with a lifetime frame warranty and bike shop support. So okay, hardtails are cheaper, but does that mean they're less capable? I'm going to tell you no, and here's why I say that. Each design, whether it's full suspension or hardtail, will excel at different things. For example, the rigid frame of a hardtail means you can more efficiently put power to the pedals because there is no pedal bob, because there is no rear suspension. This means climbing is easier, and pumping is easier. How about jumping? Yes, it's more predictable without having to deal with a rear suspension. Ever seen all those fail videos where people are getting catapulted over the bars?
Oh shit, buddy. Oh, shit.
Now, let's be realistic. Technique is an important part of jumping, and a hardtail can still buck you like that. But that being said, you don't want to be dealing with the rabbit and turtle knob, also known as the rebound adjustment, while you're learning. The less you have to think about when learning to jump, the better you will progress. Once you do, you'll be able to jump most any bike without much thought. Which brings me to my next point. A hardtail is a great bike to build your skills on. While the hardtail is a great climber, jumper, and pumper, it can be a little more of a challenge over rough terrain and drops. Now that's not to say that it's not capable in these conditions. It just requires a bit more thought and focus. In the long run, this is a good thing, because getting better on a hardtail in challenging terrain will train your brain to not rely on the bike's suspension so much. There are plenty of riders that tread places like Moab and Whistler on hardtails. Hell, I landed my first big drop on a hardtail. It can be done, and you'll earn plenty of street cred when you're shredding a hardtail. Lastly, a hardtail is just lower maintenance. There are fewer moving parts, no rear pivots or shock to maintain. Less time in the shop means more time on the trail. So let's recap. Hardtails rule for the following reasons. 1, they're cheaper. 2, they excel at climbing, pumping, and jumping. 3, they're a great bike to learn skills on. 4, they're less maintenance. And lastly, shredding on a hardtail will earn you tons of street cred. Although I'm not sure how valuable street cred is in a sport that is focused on staying off the streets. Maybe I shouldn't look at it in the literal sense. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It costs nothing and will help us to bring you more content. Nothing will make you look like a badass more than a hardtail.
No.
Well, maybe a full rigid, but that's a story for another day.
Water bottle.
Hope you enjoyed this leg of my journey.
No.
Thanks for watching.
Oh my. Here's your water bottle. It came flying out. It's like.
I can't let that happen again.
Yeah.
I gotta do that again, huh?
Yeah.